It's time for The Local with your host and realtor, Katie McKinney.
Hey guys, it's Katie McKinney with The Local, and today I've got Gary Goetzinger here. Gary, thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Gary is the owner of Goetzinger Abstract and First Republic Title and
Ellis County Abstract Company, Cimmaron County Abstract Company.
there you go. Now you know. And we're just lucky to have him here today. Kind of tell us a little bit about himself and about, what he does here in Woodward, how long he's been here and how he got here. So, Gary, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, how I got here, I was born here. So
Pretty easy.
It was pretty easy. I didn't have many choices on that.
Yeah, no choice there.
No choice there. I went to Stillwater, went to OSU for 4.5 years.
Go Pokes. 4.5. At least he admits it.
Yeah, 4.5. During between my spring semester and my last semester in school, I went to Tulsa, worked for an abstract company in Tulsa for the three months
neat.
there, and they told me they would give me a job when I got out of school, and I knew what my grade point average was in school. I thought that was a great idea.
Yes.
So I went to Tulsa and worked for just under 2 years there.
Okay.
And then I came back, moved back home in 1985.
1985.
Yes. So.
And what was the company then here in Woodward? Was it Goetzinger Abstract?
It's always been, yes. My granddad.
Tell us a little bit about that.
My granddad started Goetzinger Abstract.
Okay.
In 1933.
1933.
There were 7 abstract companies.
Really?
1933.
Wow.
Yes.
Total of the state in the state.
No,
total
7 in
everywhere.
Woodward, Oklahoma.
Oh, Woodward, Oklahoma. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's some good
7
history.
abstract companies in Woodward, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
In 1933.
Okay.
So throughout the course of times, it went down to 2 of us.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Of course.
And then my dad and my uncle took it over in the 60s.
Okay.
Or late 50s and 60s. My granddad died in 56.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bought it, with my cousin, bought it out in 98.
Okay.
And we've been running ever since.
Excellent.
So.
So you're born here, came back here very shortly after graduating from OSU, and you've been here ever since.
Ever since.
Awesome. So obviously, there's a lot of people that aren't from Woodward who live here currently. And when I always give a community tour around Woodward, I talk about the Goetzinger walking trails. Is there any relation? I've always wanted to ask you.
That was my dad.
Okay.
And the reason why that came about, my dad was the mayor at the time, and he got cancer.
Okay.
And he died.
Okay.
And we had some problems with the EPA. The city did at one point in time. So they had to, in good faith, spend some money to better the environment or whatever.
Right.
And it was really Laverne Phelps's brainchild that they developed a walking trail around the field station. That's what it initially was.
Right.
And so they just, my dad was an avid walker, so they did that in his honor since he was the mayor at the time. He'd been the mayor for about 11 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
He loved being the mayor. He was always given a microphone. He was happy. So
that's neat.
He enjoyed that type of thing. So
Yeah.
he did a good job, because when I moved back, he basically retired anyway.
Right.
Because I was there to do his part.
Right.
And so he enjoyed the PR side of it.
Yeah.
And so he really enjoyed being the mayor a lot.
That's neat. Neat. I know that's an aside, but I've always wanted to ask, and I should have known that. But I always, it's a huge highlight when we do a community tour, because they say, well, where can we work out, or where can we walk with family and pets and whatnot? And I always mention that and kind of show them around. So that's neat that it's got a connection to you, a very close connection. Neat. So how did you get, obviously, we know that you got into the title and abstract industry because of your family, your dad. It was kind of a given, probably.
I don't know. I got 2 sisters who are smart enough not to get into it. So.
That's funny. What led you to that, or what inspired you to come back?
I just
and
enjoyed
do
it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. And
what part of it did you enjoy?
I like the abstracting side.
Abstract side.
I've done the closing side, and I do not have the mental capacity to be a closer, because it takes a certain personality to be a closer.
It does.
And I just don't have it.
Yeah.
And I just can't think that way.
Right.
I'm more methodical in my
Right.
approach of how
Yes.
life is.
Yes.
I've done the title insurance side of it. It's a lot easier.
Right.
Although it's got more complicated with the course of time, of course.
Right.
But the abstracting side is kind of the story side of it. And also you get to kind of solve the problems.
Right.
Because a good abstractor will know what the problems with the title before it leaves the office.
Yes. Yes.
And there's times that you can contact the closer or the attorney and say, okay, I'm sending this abstract to you, and it has these flaws.
Right. Yeah.
And so therefore, I like that side of it.
I do too, and one thing I really like about the abstracting side too, like you said, it's the history of it too. And sometimes I'll just thumb through a few abstracts to kind of look, back in, especially those on Hillcrest and other areas. It's really interesting to look at, the rules maybe back then, or the history, how many times it's changed hands and who had it before. And so I'm kind of a little bit of a nerd of history in that way.
Plus, the old was always the good side because they really describe why they didn't like somebody.
Right. I didn't know that.
Why their spouse wasn't very good.
Oh, gosh.
They went to great detail. Like today's divorces, they're pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, yeah.
Back then, they really went into full
detail of why everything happened the way that it did.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun. Now I'm going to have to really look for those details. That might be interesting. But yeah, the history. And like, I'm a big history buff, so I think that's why I enjoy it as well. So that's really what inspired you, was being able to see that, but also mostly the abstracting side.
Yes, and I enjoyed it.
Good.
I mean, that's something I enjoyed doing.
Yeah. And what was your degree in at OSU?
It was business administration.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's more helpful than, secondary English education, which is what I got.
I don't know. I mean, until you start running your own business, you really don't have a clue.
That's right.
You can take all the classes you want until you start running your own business. It's a whole different
Right.
deal.
Yeah. Learn as you go, sink or swim, however people say it. There's a lot of terms for it because it's kind of the way that it is.
Yes.
Same thing with real estate. A lot of times you learn stuff online, or, you kind of try to be a good student, but then really it's in practice. So
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
the same thing with that industry. So what are a few common misconceptions about title and abstract industry? Because I know there's probably several. I know before I was a real estate agent, I did not know hardly anything about that side of things. But what are a few misconceptions?
I don't know about misconceptions. I mean, every state, I think the biggest misconception is the fact that you hear Oklahoma's an abstract state.
Right.
And nobody else.
Right.
Well, every state does research.
Yes.
You just don't see it.
Right.
And there's more in-house.
Mm-hmm,
You get the title insurance policy.
Right.
And if we weren't an abstract state, we'd be a title insurance state.
Right.
And we'd still be doing the same thing. The difference is the rates would be higher
Yes.
than they are right now for that side of it.
Yep.
Everything's separated in Oklahoma. The abstract's separated from the title insurance. The title insurance separated from the closing. It's just all separated out.
Yeah.
In Texas and Kansas and all our neighboring states, they
Right.
just lump it all together
into
one thing.
Yeah.
And they just present you with the end product.
Okay.
I don't know. Oklahomans are so used to getting an abstract
Right.
that it freaks out the older generation.
Right. Yeah. Where is my book?
Where's
Yeah.
your book?
Yeah.
we actually can do a digital abstract.
Right.
And we have been for the last year or so. We've been
Wow.
able to do that, and we do that often for the Oklahoma City companies that order
Yes.
abstracts. We'll just send them a digital version of it,
Right.
so we don't have to worry about shipping or losing it.
That's neat.
And actually, it's probably safer in a lot of ways because you never lose the abstract anymore. You
Right.
have to hunt it.
Yeah.
It's got a little on a flash drive or it's on your computer or whatever. It's a little bit easier to handle storage-wise and everything else.
Most definitely.
So, I mean, those things have changed over the course of time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's a huge point there because we have so many wildfires here and natural, we hopefully hopefully not a lot of natural disasters, but we have some.
Yes.
And there's been an occasion or two where I've heard, oh, well, my abstract got burned up in the fire.
Yes.
And, you hate to hear that because, it's obviously it was in their home or somewhere storage or whatever it might be. But that actually does happen more here than what I realized, I guess. But having that digitally, I mean, there's so many things going digitally. So
yes,
it makes sense.
It
makes sense to do it and kind of compact it and keep it safe. And
there's only so much room.
that's exactly right.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because you guys can store them. You do store them.
We do store them, but there's only so much room.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's and I think the misconception with, like you're saying with other states, Texas, Kansas, and other neighboring, they have it as one end product. Really, they're doing the same thing or similar things. It's just they're not separate like Oklahoma is
in
abstract. Okay. And with other states is, I should say I've heard this just because when I was in California in last August, there were quite a few of the other real estate agents that I was with. They said, well, doesn't an attorney come to every closing, that you have? And I go, well, no, there's an attorney title opinion done.
Yes.
Is an attorney title opinion required in every transaction?
No.
Okay.
No, they're not. I mean, if you don't want an attorney to examine your abstract, if it's a cash sale, you don't want an attorney to examine it, you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's kind of stupid not to.
Right.
but you don't have to.
Right. We don't recommend that you not do it.
That's right.
And why?
Just because they know the laws a little bit better, and the laws have tweaked over the course of time.
Right.
And it's just better to have an attorney draw up the deeds.
Right. Yeah.
And it used to be, when I first started, we just prepared the deeds ourselves. But there's a lot of liability behind that anymore.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of wording in there that you need to have. So it's just better for an attorney to be involved that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And there's some really good title attorneys in Woodward, Oklahoma.
Yes.
That's all they really like to do, and you know who they are.
Right, of course.
And there's some attorneys that don't like to do it. But that's okay too. But you just need that legal opinion from them to make sure everything. I can kind of tell you what's wrong. They can kind of tell you what's wrong, and then together we can figure out solutions to fix them. And that's the important thing I would say. It's not the customer's job to fix the problems.
Right.
It's not your realtor's job to fix the problems.
Yeah.
It's the abstractor and the closing and the attorneys to solve the problems, because we have the expertise and we have the knowledge as to where to go to find those needs.
Yeah. I think that's huge, because they go, well, what if there's an issue with the title? Well, then, and I go through those steps. Well, we need to talk with the abstract company and the attorney that did the attorney title opinion. If you don't do that attorney title opinion, it's almost like you've missed a step,
Yes.
and you can still, like you said, you can do it. If it's a cash sale, you necessarily have to, but I would always recommend getting one, because
And an attorney's opinion vary from attorney to attorney.
Yeah.
And my favorite story is this attorney's passed away since then now, but we had an abstract that we did 3 times within 6 months.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
And, they were going to refinance. And then they bought a house, so they did a bridge loan. And then they were going to sell it. Well, he passed the title the first 2 times, and he turned it down the third.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. It's good. It's good to have it. And that's one thing I think that's pretty interesting is if they might not catch it that first time or whatever, but having 2 eyes on it is better than one or none at all, really.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. And that's kind of the point of that.
But, for the refinancing, it was probably, it's okay.
Exactly.
Because it wasn't going to change hands.
Right.
But then when it's going to change hands,
then it gets real serious.
It changed the way he thought about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think those are good misconceptions. And especially you noted that, it's not the job of necessarily the customer or the real estate agent to solve those issues, but going to professionals that they do that every single day. They're in it every day, and they are the professionals of that. Of course, as real estate agents, we can help with that and help kind of mediate and communicate with the customer. But at the end of the day, we're trusting an attorney or an abstract company to help with that. So very good on the misconceptions. And one question I have for you, because you've got quite a few people that work in your office, about how many? I know there's 2 kind of sides, but how many do you think?
Well, total, I got 14 employees.
Okay,
but
14.
That's in Stillwater, Elk City,
yeah,
Boise City, Arnett, Woodward. So it's spread out.
It's spread out, but that's quite a few people. Yes. How do you effectively lead a team of that many people, especially different towns?
It's just starting with hiring good people.
Yep.
And letting them do their thing. And treat them like family. I mean, of course, I was single when I moved back. I didn't get married till I was 38 years old. I didn't have my son till we adopted him when I was 41. And when I had my son, it changed my perspective.
Yes.
And so I just try to allow my employees who have families freedom to be able to go participate in their kids' activities.
Right.
So first of all, hire intelligent people who are self-driven and treat them like human beings and not like they're going to try to steal from you or anything else.
Yes.
And so I do not have much turnover.
Right. Yeah.
I have the same employees now. I'll say Every 10 years or so, I'll have a major turnover, but that's just the nature of the beast.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But for the most part, I have the same employees I've had for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, you're treating them like family, and that's how you lead effectively, you feel like. So I think that's the key to business in general. One of the main keys of business is taking care of your people. So hope Allie's listening. So what are a few things recently, or like you mentioned in the last year, that you've added on for the digital abstracts, but is there anything that you plan to add on to the business or change or anything like that?
The only thing I add on is maybe some more closing offices someplace throughout the state.
Yes.
To spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
Get past just one economy.
Right.
You know, the office in Stillwater was a good deal because it has the university there.
Yes.
And so therefore you always have turnover and you have a moving economy.
Yep.
Elk City was good to start with. It's been up. It's affected by the oil and gas a lot more than Woodward is.
Yeah.
So I've thought about moving some other things, opening up some other things.
Yeah. I think it's always good, and again, it goes back to the business. A big business principle, in my opinion, that I've learned a lot recently is diversification. It doesn't have to all be, one place or whatever. And that's the nice thing about technology too nowadays, and just being able to do business different places, even if you don't live there constantly. And if you've got people that you trust, and it's kind of neat that you can expand like that. So neat. That's actually Stillwater. Obviously, I like that place. So you do too.
Stillwater's a good place.
It is a good place, and you're right. I mean,
and glad I was there when they had no phones.
Yes, glad. That's hilarious. Yeah. Well, I was there when they had phones, and it was still really fun. But there is a lot of turnover. I mean, just in obviously I was on the rental side because I was a college student with no money. But renting even, there's so much turnover, and I remember renting a 2-bed, 1-bath house with my husband Josh whenever we were married, and I was a junior, I guess, in college, and it's $850 a month, not counting utilities. And I think I looked on Zillow here a couple months back. It's been almost 5 years now, and I was like, they bought that for $40,000.
My first home was $40,000.
Was it? Was it?
In 1986.
Oh, neat. Well, it's worth a lot more now, isn't
it?
it?
But it hasn't grown any.
It has.
It's the same square footage
it's
when I bought
it. It's the same square footage, just appreciated. I know that appreciated.
In fact, I bought it for $40.
That's
I turned around. My wife and I sold it 13 years later for $55. I just thought I'd kill the moon.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And the people who bought it turned around and sold it for $73 6 months later.
Should have held on to it a little longer. Exactly. No, I mean that's the beauty of real estate.
Yes.
That's the beauty of real estate. So taking a look at that. So obviously you were born here, you grew up here, you came back here very shortly after college.
Yes.
Why do you enjoy being a business person, a business owner in Northwest Oklahoma?
Well, the one thing I like, in a big city, you're just a number.
Yes.
That's all you are.
Yeah.
In Woodward, Oklahoma, or any of the smaller towns, you can be a business owner, but you're also a person.
Yes.
And you can be involved in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been involved. My family's been involved in the community. I've been involved in the community.
Right.
I served on the city commission for 12 years. I've done a lot of other activities besides that. But you have an opportunity to be part of something so that you have other passions besides just your work.
Yeah.
I lived in Tulsa for a year and 10 months. You always were in line.
Yeah.
You always were in a rush hour.
Traffic, yeah.
You were sitting in a stop sign. You were in line going to everything you went to. When I moved back in 1985, first part of 86, I could get off work and I'd be on the golf course in 20 minutes. I wasn't married. I wasn't dating anybody, so I could play golf 4 or 5 times a week. And it was
fine.
It was
life
fine.
was good, yeah.
But you couldn't do that in Tulsa or Oklahoma City or in metropolitan areas.
Yeah.
And Woodward, or you have the opportunity to be involved with the chamber. You have an opportunity to be involved with the American Cancer Society or anything else. And you have an opportunity to make those things grow.
Yeah.
And, tourism is a big, I've heard tourism spoken on your show before, and I just believe in tourism.
Yes, I do too.
Now, I'll tell you my favorite tourism story.
Okay.
Years ago, my son was just a small child. We went to the Elks Rodeo. We spent $15 a person.
Yes.
We had a nice barbecue sandwich or whatever we had, and we went and saw the rodeo, and they had the specialty act. can't remember what the specialty act, but we went and saw the specialty act.
Yeah.
The next day, we drove over to Branson, Missouri. We went to the Dixie Stampede. Paid $75 a ticket.
Wow.
Had a nice meal, saw a nice show, and saw the exact same specialty act.
15 versus,
Yeah. So
75,
I always thought, well, why can't we do something like that in Woodward,
Right.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
You know? So the Elks Rodeo is coming up next week.
It is.
And they're going to have some of the top cowboys coming to town.
Yes.
Because they're the first rodeo around
Yep.
that's going to do it. Everything else is canceled around. I encourage people to go out and watch it because they'll have some great entertainment out there.
Yeah.
For not much money.
I agree, and we've got a lot of people this year, especially that since they're not on the main circles that they usually are on, we're going to have some, like we always do, but we're going to have some really good singers, I will say, and also cowboys. So cowboys and cowgirls. So
that's right. That's right.
It'll be fun to watch, and it's fun to watch Woodward during that week, and this will air on the Monday, this coming Monday, Monday of Elks Rodeo week.
Great.
And so I think it's fun to watch. Like you said, tourism is really neat, but then also we can just go to the rodeo. You can be a business owner, you can be a business person, but you can go to the rodeo and see all your friends and family and different people. So I think that is a pretty awesome beauty of Northwest Oklahoma.
Yes, it is.
Do you have anything else to add, Gary? We sure appreciate you being on.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen your podcast. I've really enjoyed watching those.
Good.
And so I look forward to seeing this one and continuing on. And, and I'm looking forward to do businesses with you throughout the rest of your realty career.
Well, I sure appreciate it. I look forward to it as well. So
Sure.
Thanks so much, Gary.
Thank you.